Heyo, my name is Joe. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new recent reads video. I can't believe I'm doing another one of these already. Hello there. If you are new here, my name is Joanna. I refer to myself here as Joe, and I am Fight and Read Like a Girl, where I do things bookish and polycystic ovarian syndrome related. That is always such a mouthful to say. If you are coming back to my channel, thank you. I appreciate you. If you are new, hi, how are you? Welcome to my crazy chaos of corner of the world. I love to read. I talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome. Hi. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I apologize for my little bit of an absence there. That was not intentional, actually. March. Okay. Let's talk about March for a second before I go ahead and dive into this video. So March was a little bit of a rough month for me. I ended up having like 5 migraine days, and any time that I had time to record, I was battling a migraine. Any time that I went to sit down to do any editing, migraine. It was just chaotic. There was a 3-day stretch where I had a migraine, and I have recently jumped to a new medication to hopefully help with that, as well as I've just had I had a lot going on in March, and I just couldn't find the time. So I apologize. I'm hoping we can go ahead and dive in to all of this. I'm hoping I can get a few videos knocked out today as far as recording wise goes. So I have a lot of books to talk about. I'm not sure where my last recent reads stopped, so I'm gonna go watch that video real quick. But I do have a lot of books I need to talk about. It's at least 1, 2, 3, it's at least 5. At least 5, but I think it might be 7. So give me a moment to figure that out, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. But I've been doing a lot of reading, and I'm not hating it. I'm actually liking it. And there's a couple of these that I'm going to talk about that were quite the surprise for me and whatnot. I feel like I've talked about that one. I feel like I don't know. I have to go back and watch that video real quick to figure it out. Okay. So, last book I talked about was The Shadow Guardians. Wow. Alright, we have a lot more to talk about than I thought. So, because we have so much to talk about, let's dive in and get started. So I've been doing a lot of reading through Kindle Unlimited. I started paying subscription for that, and I'm not hating it. I have actually found some really good books through this. A lot of them have been like people I've been finding on TikTok, you know, reading their books and things like that. But it's still reading, and it still counts. So the first one that I have to talk about with the Kindle Unlimited was The Other Belle by Whitney G. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars, and okay, so this book was, I won't say weird. It was definitely a different twist on a Beauty and the Beast retelling, because that's exactly what this was. So I don't really know how to explain this one. So, like, this one was weird because Belle, the other Belle was the sister, or like, I don't know if they were like twin sisters or if they were just sisters, I don't remember. But like, he goes and kidnaps her in the middle of the night and brings her back to the castle and basically forces her to fall in love with him. And then you have like the other fairy tales thrown in there, and that's what kind of gave it like that 4-star rating for me. Like, it was enjoyable, so I gave it 4 stars. I mean, I guess it would be more like 3.5 stars, because it was enjoyable, but there was just too much going on in the small amount that we had for this book, and I was not a fan of it. Oh wait, I didn't even give it 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars. Like I said, it was enjoyable, but it was just not my cup of tea. Or, in my case, cup of coffee. But, I don't know. Like, I think if you want to read this, you can, like, you be the judge of it, but I found like there was too much going on in the short amount of time that we were given in this book. So I did reread A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, only because I've been trying to annotate my way through it. That was the 4th time that I read that book, but we won't talk about that because I'm always talking about that book. The next book that I want to talk about is Man Called O by Frederick Bachman. Oh my. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. Let me look. Yeah, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and it's not because I didn't enjoy it. Oh my gosh, I really did enjoy this book. But I definitely felt like it was lacking something. I mean, clearly, I have my own annotations way through it, so I was enjoying it. Like, I think actually one of my favorite lines here was at the end. Loving someone is like moving into a house. At first, you fall in love with all new things, amazed by every morning this all belongs to you, as fearing that somebody would suddenly come rushing through the door and explain that a terrible mistake has been made. You weren't actually supposed to live in this wonderful place like this. Then over the years, the walls become weathered and wood splinters here and there, and you start to love that house not so much because of all its imperfections, but rather for its imperfections. I love that! But, so, this book was really good, and I cannot wait to pick up more from Frederick Bachman. I definitely wouldn't say it was my favorite of the year, but I did give it 4 out of 5 stars because I felt like it was lacking something. But I really, really did enjoy this book, and I thought it was so good. It was so cute. I fell in love with Ove right from the beginning. Like, Ove reminded me of my cranky grandfather that I had before he passed away. And he just... the story was so sweet. And I think I'm probably going to go... this book will probably one of those ones I'm going to have to reread because I really, really did enjoy this a lot. Alright, so the next one was another one on Kindle Unlimited. This is an author that I found on TikTok, and I do recommend her books. I've only read one of them, but I really, really did enjoy this. So this one has the same vibe as that You. I don't remember who wrote it. I don't remember, like, I'm thinking like that Netflix series as well, but it was a book like You. I can't think of the author. Like Watching You, or like, it's hard to explain. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I haven't read the book, I haven't watched the series, but you follow two different perspectives in this book. This book was called He Thought I Was His by Sarah Kate, and I read this on my Kindle through Kindle Unlimited. And so you follow 2 different characters in this book. You have the crazy stalker, and you have, I can't remember names, but you have her. She's going about her, like, daily life, and then you've got this crazy stalker who is so obsessed with her that he's trying to build a life for them, that way so he can, like, you know, kidnap her and just take her in. And these 2 ended up going on one date, and he becomes completely obsessed with her. He literally thought that this was his girl. He was going to stop at nothing to make sure that this girl was his. And she, like, all of a sudden starts going crazy, thinking that she's got, like, this crazy stalker. Somebody keeps breaking into her house. And, like, you get near the end of it, and it's just a twist that was at the end of this I was not expecting. But then I was also kind of expecting it at the same time. But I did end up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. Like, if you like a psychological mystery type thriller, I recommend checking out this book, and you will not regret it. You can find this book on Kindle Unlimited, but I believe you can also order yourself a copy. This is going to be one of those ones I'm going to order myself a copy because I need this book in my life. I could not get over how good this book was. There was a few mistakes as far as like typos and stuff like that in here. But if you're a Kindle Unlimited author, you need to expect that. So, or if you're a Kindle Unlimited reader, you need to expect that from the authors. There's gonna be mistakes in the book. But I thought this was so good. Like, I still find myself thinking about this book, and I read this like in the middle of the month, the middle of March, and I still find myself thinking about this. I can't. I can't stop thinking about it. But we're gonna move on from this one because I could go on forever about this book. So the next one that I read, oh my gosh, was so adorable. So the next one that I read, this one was kind of an on the whim type of book. I was not expecting to read this book. Like, if you told me that I would be reading this book, I'd probably be like, dude, you're freaking crazy. But I did. So if you guys don't know, I am a direct support professional, and the person that I work with loves to read. She is constantly reading. So my coworker brought in this book, and she's like, okay, we're gonna read this with her. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I mean, she's able to, my client is able to read a lot of this. So she was able to read most of it, and I'm counting it toward my Goodreads because I did read a little bit to her. There was some parts where I had to read to her, and I'm counting it. So here we are. So this is part of the Magic Tree House series, and this one is called Dinosaurs Before Dark. This is by, who's the author? Who is the author? Mary Pope Osborne. Oh my gosh, this book is adorable. Like, this whole, I'm like already obsessed with this series, and I've already read the first book, but this series is adorable. So they come across this treehouse that transports them back through time, and in this one they went to the time of the dinosaurs, and they just go on this like cute little short adventure about the dinosaurs, and then they come back and they're back at the treehouse. It's like, what every kid's dream would love to do that. Like, my inner child is screaming because of this book. Like, I cannot get over how adorable this book was. And I cannot wait to read more of these books with my client. And, like, I am, like, starting to become so obsessed with this series. I want to purchase this entire series, because this is adorable. This one is a really good one if you got like young kids at home, or if you're a teacher, or this would be a great one to have in your classroom, because the illustrations in here are great. The storyline is wonderful. I can't wait to see what other history is going to come out of this. Like, even if I don't read it to my client and I see the book sitting over at work, I'm picking up and reading it. Because I love it. I love the little adventure. My inner child is just like, yay! Like a little kid, like in a candy store, like that's where my little child is at right now. My inner little kid. That made more sense in my head. But so adorable, and very highly recommend this because, yeah, I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars because it was beautiful. I loved it so much. Alright, the next book that I have is another Kindle Unlimited book. This one is part of a series. I believe this is the second one. This is Mindfuck series, which is Sidetracked by S.T. Abbey. And this is the second book in that series. I'm not going to go into detail on what this one's about. I don't remember what I rated it. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars, so I really did enjoy this. It's got a lot of smut in it. A lot of smut. Oof, wow. And I was not expecting the amount of smut that was in here, but, you know, it's all good. But this one is about, so the whole series is about a girl who is a murderer, and then you have an FBI agent who is trying to uncover her case, and they end up just having fun with each other. That's basically what the series is, and I'm really enjoying the series. I've already downloaded the next one on Kindle Unlimited to read it. So, there's that. I'm not going to go into detail about the second one because I don't want to spoil the first one for you. But I do recommend this series if you like a little bit of smut, and if you like, I shouldn't say a little, but if you like smut and you like murder mystery type books, this is a good one for you. Alrighty, and the last book that I read recently, I must say the month of March, but no, the last book that I read recently, which I finally finished, and it was not because it was a long time coming, it's just because I was listening to the audiobook, and then I got distracted by other books, and then I just didn't have the time to listen to an audiobook, but I did finally finish this. And that is Bill Nye, Everything at Once, How to Unleash Your Inner Nerd, Tap into the Radical Curiosity, and Solve a Problem. Wow. Okay. So I listened to the audiobook for this, and I believe I did. I mean, I usually don't give non-fiction books a rating, but I did rate this one, which was 5 out of 5 stars. I listened to the audiobook, and it was great. I felt like I was listening to a long episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy. It was just absolutely great, and you know, I even, like, went through, like, after I was, like, reading, like, I remembered, like, chapters and stuff that I wanted to, like, you know, annotate and all that, and it was great. I could not believe the amount of things in here that I want to remember. And you know, just the silliness of the whole entire thing. I feel like I'm going to read back through this probably physically at some point. That way so I can annotate the hell out of it. Because there were just so many funny moments in here. Like, Bill Nye laughing at his own jokes. But they made you giggle. And if you're going to read this book, I do recommend the audiobook. Because it was just great. It was just wonderful. And I don't know where else to talk about this, but like this one, Bill Nye is talking about different ways that you can change the world and how science is just a key part of the elements in our world. Yes, I still have my bookmark in here because I haven't finished my annotating. But I recommend this, and it was great. It was wonderful. It was perfect. It was great. I loved it so much. And I feel like I can't stress enough, everybody should read this book at least once, or at least half of it. Or read it chapter by chapter, or jump ahead, or skip ahead. There's so much to offer in this book that there's a little bit for everybody. At least that's how I feel. So, there's that. If you made it this far in this video, thank you. I appreciate you watching this all the way to the end. I feel like this one was so random and so chaotic. There was a lot to talk about, though. So, if you made it this far, thank you. If you haven't done so already, I hope you hit subscribe so you enjoy my cute little community, because we try to have fun here. I haven't been posting very much lately, but we're working on that, and I'm hoping that this month is going to be a little bit different as far as posting videos, so you don't want to miss anything. As always, every book that I mention is always listed down below, so you can go check them out for yourself. If it's not down there yet when I post this video, it will be. I promise. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.